Jack Tuttle, a calming presence in the Michigan huddle. We're joined now by our calming presence, Jack Miller. Of course, you can hear him on the Michigan Radio Network, and he joins us every week here on College Football Weekly. Jack, thank you so much for taking some time with us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All righty, so they had the week off, coming off of the tough loss at Washington, and I think everyone's agreed this was a good time for a week off. Just to get your body reacclimated coming back from the West Coast, and also to get the minds reacclimated as they're coming off that tough loss to the Huskies.
Yeah, good time of year halfway through the regular season to literally take a halftime break and readjust. I think there were some things in that Washington game, obviously not good enough, not being able to get the win, but I think there was a bit of a breath of fresh air with Jack Tuttle getting in there and showed some promise to be able to do different things for that offense that they hadn't been able to do before. So you're halfway through the year. You got two losses on the schedule, one to, the best team in college football and the other in a tough road environment. Still got a lot to play for, still got a lot in front of you, and hopefully just some time to mentally get ready for what the back half of the season looks like. And then just physically too, to be able to, get your body right and get some guys back from injury and feel better about things as you get down the stretch.
Sharon Moore said, little things make the big things, and that's what they focused on during that week off. The little things, the details, the hand placement, the angles on tackles, because they think scheme-wise everything is still correct. It's just those little things, the fundamentals, and that's the reset for the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's usually how things go. When things aren't going the right way, you just try to drill back down into the little things, into the fundamentals, the basics, that because of how the season works and over the course of the year, you just lose focus on sometimes because you get enamored with your opponent. You get enamored with game planning and scheming. And when there are problems like they've had, in this season with being able to throw the ball, you get so fixated on those things. And then you forget that if you just keep doing the little things, okay, those bigger issues just seem to find a way to work themselves out. But if you don't get the little things right, to Coach's point, you don't stand a chance. And bye weeks, no matter when you're playing good or bad, are always an opportunity to do that.
And you look at the offensive line with all the injuries they've had, and it looks like they're going to be healthy for this trip to Illinois. Again, another good time for that O-line to get healthy, as you need cohesion on that offensive line, and it looks like they're going to get that coming back.
Yeah, it's good to see. Good to see that it looks like they'll be healthy. They are going to need that. I mean, Illinois, Champaign is not necessarily thought of as a hostile environment. It's just never been that way, at least in football. But that being said, anytime you go on the road, it's even more important that you're able to try to control the game as much as possible. How do you do that? You do that with great offensive line play. And now with Tuttle coming in there, again, a breath of fresh air, a guy who you think, okay, there's some legs here, we can work with this. You're going to have to protect him and run the ball effectively to give him any chance to get electric and get that passing game going as well as a running game. And it all starts up front as well.
Fighting Illini, they have taken on the identity of their head coach, Brett Bielema, a tough physical team. That's what you expect out of Bielema teams from Wisconsin, and that's what we've been getting out of Illinois the last several years under Bielema.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Coach Bielema, a terrific coach, a guy who has found a way to success everywhere that he has gone. I think he built Wisconsin or kept it as a program that was not necessarily full of five-star athletes, but was just really gritty, really tough, always competitive, going to play you and give you their best, smart, always in a good position. And he's doing the same thing at Illinois with a bunch of guys that might not necessarily, light the world on fire and be first-round draft picks, but together, collectively, they play really good football. And they're going to be fired up. I mean, no matter what, Michigan always gets any opponent's best. They get their best going in there in a season that they feel like, hey, we can knock off the defending national champs. That they're going to be coming ready for that and ready to try to knock off a Michigan team that, is wobbly right now and is kind of at an inflection point of the season. They're either going to figure it out and get competitive down the stretch, or they won't. And it starts this weekend, this Saturday.
Both teams ranked in the top 25. Of course, Illinois' lone loss was to Penn State, but they were taken to overtime by Purdue this past week. So Illinois may be showing some cracks. Perhaps they were looking ahead to Michigan. So there may be some weaknesses there for the Wolverines to exploit.
Yeah, I mean, I think just on paper, Michigan's the more talented team. They got bigger athletes, stronger, faster athletes. But that's why you play the game, because you got to go out there and compete for 4 quarters. And we saw this last year with Michigan. I think you could probably say, even off for a defending national championship season, they didn't have the best athletes out there. They had plenty of them, but they weren't the most talented team, but they were the best team. And that's what a team like Illinois wants to play like as well, right? They might be the the 3 stars instead of the 4 and 5 stars, but they're scrappy. They play well together. They're going to have a good plan and give you their all. They might have been looking forward to that game a little bit last week with Purdue, but I have very little doubt they'll show up this weekend.
Michigan has long dominated the series against the Fighting Illini. They've won the last 6 meetings between the two. They don't always meet every year anymore, though, but Michigan has won 6 in a row against the Fighting Illini. I want to thank our guest, Jack Miller from the Michigan Wolverine Radio Network. Jack, thank you once again.
Thanks, Mark. Go Blue.